Welcome back to World Drum Club, everyone. Today, I want to be talking to you about a subject that is very much a part of music, but one that you probably don't think about too much, and that is form. What is form in music? Form is how different parts or sections of a piece of music are arranged over time. And why is it important? Well, one reason it's important to know what form is to know what to expect, to know how to compose a piece of music, to know how to perform a piece of music because you understand the overall arch structure of it, and also just for intellectual satisfaction. Form is part of music theory. It's something that every musician knows about, and so I thought I would share a casual way with you to just introduce you to the idea of form. And we're going to do that by analyzing a piece of music. And so what you can take away from this video is a way for you to be able to listen to a piece of music and go through it and analyze it and find out what the form is for yourself. So you're not relying on other people to tell you what the form is. You can be empowered to figure it out yourself. You can also use forms as a way to compose music. Or if you're a player or you just want to play, informally or formally, an understanding of form will just help you for the reasons I've previously mentioned. So we're going to listen to a piece of music, and what I'm going to do right now, and there are many ways to go about this. This is just one of them. If I was working with little children, I would not do this method I'm going to show you, but because we're mostly adults, I can show you this method. Nothing inappropriate for children about it. It's just a little more analytical approach. So what we're going to do is we're going to listen to a short recording that I made of the song Oye Como Va, and I'm going to mark just a mark on this whiteboard for every 8-beat section. Every 8 beats, I'm going to put a mark down here, and that is going to create kind of a graph or grid, and then we're going to start to fill it in by identifying the different sections. So let's do our grid first, and you can follow along with me if you want. Get a pen or pencil and a piece of paper, and you can mark down the sections of 8 beats. This will take about 2.5 minutes. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 16 beats, or 32 beats. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's something different. Let's start a new row. I apologize for the glare in the overhead. It's kind of the nature of whiteboards. As we go through this, just take note. There's different sections and different things happening. New row. Almost there. We're in the home stretch. you heard this before? Yes, you have. What else have you heard before? You've heard this. All right. Technically, we didn't get to this last note here. Can we see all these in the overhead? Ooh, okay. So we're barely fitting on the screen now. All right, so here is a representation of all of the 8-beat phrases of the tune, except for the count off or count in. So I'm going to write that over here. Count. I'll just put count. Okay, so when we have we actually have an 8-beat count off, and then we start right here. And so what is that? We're going to go through, and I'm going to mark every time I feel like there's a new section that happens. I'm going to put a little, whatever. I'll just put a mark. Maybe I'll put a little line through one of these marks. Now that is going to further develop this. Right now, all this is telling me is about how long the tune is, right? It's basically almost six sections of 8 times 8 number of beats, so 6 times 64 beats long. But it's not very interesting. This is just a big block of music right now. So now we're going to go through, and like I said, I'm just going to mark every time there's a change, every time a new section happens. Let's do that. And you can do it with me. You don't have to watch what I'm doing here. You could do your own and then see if it's the same as mine. All right, let's go. 1. Here's a change. That repeats. Obviously a change here. Here we go. Bueno pago sa. Can you sing it? Me como va. Ritmo. Okay, here's a different melody. No melody. Continues without changes. Where did we hear that before? No melody. What do you think could be happening over this section? What would normally be going on here? Oh. That sounds familiar. Okay, so here's our end. Boom. Usually you would put a double line at the very end. That's formal music notation. And I want to say that you can create forms using any kind of visual language you want or verbal language. Even if you can't see, obviously, you can still create icons or visualizations in your mind to think about form. If, like I said, if I was working with children, I might have them just use different colors and make a line for every section they hear, and whenever they hear a change, they use a different color, and just do it in kind of big blobs. And then you can start to refine it. We're not trying to get the whole thing the first time through. That's kind of the point of this exercise, is we're refining, successive approximations. We're moving closer. So now we can start to look at this and see a little bit of the form here, a little bit of the shape. Let me make sure I'm lined up here. And I do apologize for these glares, but I have lights in the studio, and that's the way it is. Hopefully you can see all this. So what I've got is a count in. I've got something here, and then I've got a little something that happens before this. And I know that these are all my breaks. I put just some hash marks on there to indicate that there's a break happening. A 2D rhythm, like punctuated rhythms where everybody's playing the same thing. And I see that there's two long ones, one here, and then there's two short ones here. And then there's this area here, which was a unique section. That only happened once. And I marked the end of it with these three notes, and you'll see why when we listen to it again. So now I want to go through and kind of talk a little bit more about what I feel like I'm hearing happening in the music. So I can refine this even further. So we're going to go back, and this will be our last time through. And again, you can do this with me. You don't have to see exactly what I'm doing. I am going to be describing it as we go through, and maybe marking this up a little bit more. Okay, here we go. Pass number 3. 1, 2, here we go. So that's an introduction, right? I'm going to call this a prelude, because this section only happened once as well. Break. So that is our verse. We're singing. Coming up to a break. So I'll just call this the chorus. Just for lack of a better term, I want to use common terms. So now we're just time. So I'm going to say that this will be a solo section. So things can happen over here like an improvisation. I'm just going to put solo. Could be a melodic solo or a percussion solo. And I don't really have to count here because I know there's a break coming up. So we're going to hear this break right here, right after this. That's the verse again. Bueno pa gozar. Something else coming up here. So this is just plain. So this could be another solo section, right? Some other common terms that you might hear to describe form are bridge. We have verse, chorus, bridge, intro, outro, prelude, interlude. How about interlude? And now we have this thing again, right? The chorus. break. And the end. All right, so if we were going to give letter names to these sections, which is kind of what we do when we talk about form. Maybe you've heard people describe form in terms of ABA or AABA, or there's one in pop music called abacab, right? Abacab, A-B-A-C-A-B. That could be a popular one. There's also forms called sonata form, arch form, rondo form. These are all common forms. So once you get into form, you'll be able to recognize and also recognize the same forms in music that could be separated by hundreds of years from when it was composed, which I think is pretty cool. There's not that many classic forms or common forms. Some of the same forms that are popular in classical music are the same forms in pop music, believe it or not. Look it up. All right, so back to our lettering. We usually will use letters like A, B, C to identify the form just to make it easy and quick. So in this tune, let's look at the big picture right now. We're going to zoom out a little bit because we don't have that many letters to use. We're going to use maybe 3 letters. So usually the verse we would say is A. So we can put a big A right here, and often on a chart you'll see it in a box like that. And it would be nice to have a different colored pen. I don't have one right now, so I'm just going to use that. Where else did we see the verse? We saw it here, right? So I can put another A or A. Sometimes we do like this, like A prime. Here's another A. And let's call the chorus B. I don't know if that was an actual chorus. It's more of a counter melody, but just for our purposes here, I'm going to call this chorus B. And where else is the chorus? Down here. All right, and we have solo sections. We could call that C just for now, just for the heck of it. And we have 2 of those. And then that's it. Basically, everything else is either a break or a prelude or an interlude. We don't usually count those in form. We're talking about the big picture stuff, so the big sections like verse, chorus, bridge, that kind of thing. We could also call this outro, just because it's at the end of the song. But since it's the same as the break, we're just calling it break. We could say long break, short break. But we want to go big picture. So what is the form of this tune? Well, what I have here, if I follow these through, I've got A, B, C, A, C, B. A, B, C, A, C, B. All right? That would be the form that I have in this arrangement. And that's the nice thing about form is that you can have the same tune. It can be in a different form in one arrangement than another. But like I said, some really common forms. And what I'd like you to do is go look these up right now. If you've never thought about form, go look it up. Go to Wikipedia or wherever it is. There's tons and tons of websites. There are common forms. Some of the most common ones are ABA, AABA, like a limerick. Not a lot of nursery rhymes are AABA. There's classic pop tune forms, sonata form, arch forms, all sorts of different forms. And I think it's just really interesting to tune into that. Like I said at the beginning of this, you can use it for composition. You can use this as a way to be ready for what's coming up in a tune. You can use this as a way of kind of understanding how you might want to play a tune based on the form and building tension in a piece of music, working with the form to get the most out of it, because a tune is in a form probably for a certain reason, and as a musician, it's your job really to understand what that reason is. So understanding the form really helps you understand just how the whole music lays out. It's kind of like understanding how a novel is put together or an essay. And coincidentally, essay form and musical forms are not that different. You can look that up too, maybe do your own research. So I hope this has been a nice introduction to the concept of forms. You can use this model as a way to extract the form out of a piece of music that you like to listen to, and I would recommend that you do that soon after watching this video. Find a piece of music that you've listened to for a long time and sit down with a piece of paper, get a pen or pencil, and do this exercise with that piece of music and write out the form and see if you can just understand what it is and make some labels, make some squiggles on there, whatever makes sense for you, and map it out. A form is just a map, basically. We're mapping out the terrain of the music. All right, I hope you've enjoyed this. Enjoy all the other videos here on World Drum Club, and whether you're a drummer or not, I hope you've gotten something out of this. If you have, you know what to do. And join us at patreon.com/Kalani for even more. I'm Kalani Das. This is World Drum Club. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a future lesson.